On the seashore, there is a thin man named Trevor who is trying to throw a corpse rolled into a carpet to the open sea, but he has not managed to drop the corpse because the carpet is stuck. Shortly after, there is a man who comes from behind and catches his act. It is not explained what happened after that. Trevor is already at his residence and he has a habit spending his nights with a prostitute named Stevie. After that, Trevor goes to the bathroom and sees in the mirror that he is getting thinner and thinner, but Stevie still likes him anyway. Trevor pays Stevie plus a bunch of tips and leaves. In the morning, Trevor does his job as a technician in a manufacturing factory. Trevor seems to be a very reliable mechanic and he is friendly with his fellow workers. Then, comes a guy named Tucker, the supervisor who doesn't like Trevor. After finishing work, at night he always visits a cafe at the airport. There, he is already very familiar with the waitress named Marie. He always goes there only to drink coffee and also pay the waitress with a bunch of tips, before finally leaving at exactly 1:30 every morning. Arriving at the house, Trevor doesn't sleep, even though Trevor looks very sleepy judging by his red eyes. He somehow has an everlasting insomnia which causes his body to deteriorate. Trevor fights the drowsiness by doing things like cleaning the bathroom floor. When he learns that the floor bleach has run out, Trevor writes down what he needs at home on a note and taps it on the refrigerator door. The next day, Trevor is called by his boss while he is at work. His boss suspects Trevor that he is taking drugs because his physical condition looks significantly worse. Therefore, his boss orders Trevor to do a urine test to make sure that Trevor is drug-free. During his break from work, Trevor leaves his workplace to smoke in his car. Trevor, who looks very sleepy, is suddenly invited to a talk by a man named Ivan. Ivan claims that he is his workplace's colleague, but Trevor has never seen him before. Ivan says that he is replacing an employee named Reynolds who has been arrested by the police. At night, Trevor meets Stevie as usual, but he doesn't want to do anything. He just wants to lie down and talk to Stevie. Trevor tells Stevie that he hasn't slept for 1 year, but Stevie thinks Trevor is just joking. The next day, while he is working, he is asked for help by a friend named Miller to sort out a machine repair. However, his gaze suddenly falls on Ivan who is working and makes Trevor unfocused. Trevor is getting out of focus again when Ivan gestures at him strangely. Then, Trevor's body accidentally presses the button that makes the engine start. On the other hand, Miller, who is repairing the machine, suddenly gets his hand caught in the machine. The situation becomes very frantic because the machine strangely can't be turned off. Terrible thing happens when Miller's hand is finally cut off. Trevor doesn't expect the incident and wants to blame it on Ivan, but he is not there when Trevor is looking. Arriving at the house, Trevor is busy eating voraciously when he receives a warning letter from his office. Then, while noting his household necessities, he sees a puzzle on a piece of paper stuck to his refrigerator. The puzzle seems to be a hangman, but it is not Trevor's handwriting. Finding it strange, Trevor asks the landlord about this, but the landlord also doesn't know anything. The next day, Trevor goes on trial in his office for yesterday's accident which resulted in Miller's hand being severed. There, Trevor is honest that he accidentally nudges the machine's button because he was not focused when he saw Ivan, a new employee who had replaced Reynolds. However, everyone says that there is no employee named Ivan here, and Reynolds is still working as usual. Trevor is surprised, and immediately sees Reynolds' workplace, and sure enough, Reynolds is still working there. After work, Trevor goes all the way to the cafe at the airport as usual. He comes just to buy coffee and cake, and to see Marie the cafe waitress. Marie tells Trevor that tomorrow is Mother's Day and invites him to go on holiday with her and her son tomorrow. Then as usual, at 1:30 in the morning, Trevor comes home from there. The next day, he's back to work, but this time his friends seem to dislike his presence due to yesterday's incident. Even until work hours are over, they are annoyed with Trevor and tell Trevor to get out of the job because no one wants him there. When he wants to go home, he sees Ivan's car in the parking lot and chases after him. At a red light, Trevor talks to him, and Ivan tells him to follow him until they arrive at a bar. There, Trevor just questions why everyone doesn't know who Ivan is and Ivan's name isn't even on the list of workers. However, Ivan denies it, saying that Trevor is just being toyed with by all of them, and this answer makes Trevor even more confused. When Ivan goes to the bathroom, Trevor sees Ivan's wallet which he accidentally left on the table. Trevor is curious and looks at the contents of Ivan's wallet. There, he finds a photo of Ivan with Reynolds fishing. He takes the photo as evidence and goes home. When Trevor arrives at his house, he calls Reynolds and threatens him, because Trevor feels he has solid evidence from the photo. There, Trevor also sees another paper stuck to the refrigerator, where it contains the hangman puzzle and a word ending in the letters E and are surprised and confused. Trevor goes to Stevie's house and tells her everything, because he can fully trust Stevie. He then explains that he is afraid that something bad will happen to him, and no one will know about it. The next day, Trevor walks with Marie and his son, Nicholas. When Trevor takes a photo of them in front of the rides, Trevor suddenly cannot focus because he is reminded of his past. Then not long after, Marie calls her ex-husband and entrusts Nicholas to Trevor. Trevor invites Nicholas to walk around the rides. They also see a haunted house ride called Route 666 and decide to enter it. Inside the ride, there are artificial ghosts that don't scare Trevor at all. However, Trevor's mind is disturbed when he sees a corpse covered in cloth. From there, Trevor begins to feel scared and thinks something is wrong with the ride. Not long after, Nicholas suddenly has a seizure, and Trevor takes him outside followed by Marie, who runs to him. It turns out that Nicholas is suffering from epilepsy due to all of the flashing lights. After that incident, Trevor drives Marie and Nicholas home, then stops by Marie's house for a drink. From then on, Marie and Trevor get closer, but when Trevor takes a drink in the kitchen, he sees a picture on the refrigerator that is similar to the hangman in his house. After that, Trevor goes straight home and looks for the discarded puzzle. Then, slowly Trevor realizes something and begins to write letters on the paper with the word mother, thinking that it's the answer to the hangman on his refrigerator. He opens the photos of his childhood one by one, and he sees the photo of himself with his mother right in front of the exact same rides as he does when photographing Marie and Nicholas today. The next day, when returning to work, Trevor is asked to fix a broken machine. There, he sees Miller's severed arm and immediately apologizes. Fortunately, Miller turns out to be sincere and forgives Trevor, then he continues to repair the engine. Trevor puts his hand into the machine, but suddenly the engine starts and catches his hand. Trevor screams for help, but there is no one to help him. But fortunately, Trevor restrains the machine using the key lying there. Then, his friend comes and releases Trevor's stuck hand. Trevor is furious and accuses everyone there of conspiring to harm him, and leads to a commotion. Trevor shows the photo of Reynolds and Ivan to prove his claim days ago. But unfortunately, the photo is not in his wallet and Trevor is finally fired. After the incident, Trevor goes straight home to look for the photo, but he never finds it. Then, he goes to the bar to meet Ivan, but he can't find him either. Trevor visits Stevie, who has a bruised eye after being hurt on the job. Seeing that, Trevor pities her and immediately hugs her despite his own bad day. When he returns home, he sees blood leaking from his refrigerator with another hangman stuck on it. This time, Trevor fills the puzzle with the word Miller. Then, Trevor goes straight to Miller's house and tells him everything about his accident yesterday. Trevor accuses Miller of having a grudge against him and planned yesterday's accident. But, Miller is annoyed and tells him to get out. While outside, Trevor sees Ivan again and chases after him. He continues to follow Ivan's car while memorizing Ivan's car plate number. Trevor sees Ivan is not alone, but he is with someone. But unfortunately, Trevor's car suddenly broke down and can't start, so he lost track of him. Failing to catch Ivan, Trevor goes to the police station to ask about Ivan's car plate, as he wants to find out Ivan's real identity, which has been shrouded in mystery. However, the police refuse to provide the information because it is private. They can only disclose it unless Trevor is a hit-and-run victim. Wanting the information so bad, he deliberately runs in front of a running car, resulting in bruises all over his body. With enough bruises to support his claim, Trevor returns to the police station to report the accident but uses Ivan's vehicle number. After some checking, the officer informs that Ivan's car plate belongs to Trevor himself, and it makes him so confused. Trevor runs and is chased by the officer because he has made a false report that can throw him into prison. Fortunately, Trevor manages to escape the police chase through the sewers. Trevor then goes home, but the police are already there. So, he decides to go to Stevie's house. Stevie has fallen in love with Trevor, so she takes good care of him by taking care of his injuries and bathing him. However, he sees the photo that he has been looking for before, the photo of Ivan and Reynolds fishing. Trevor approaches Stevie, who is making him food, then he slams the plate and makes Stevie startled. Trevor asks why she has Ivan's photo, thinking that he is her ex-boyfriend. Trevor also thinks that Ivan is deliberately playing with him because he is jealous that his ex-girlfriend is sleeping with Trevor every night. Upon seeing the photo, Stevie gets confused because it is Trevor's photo with Reynolds, and Trevor himself was the one who wanted her to have it. Trevor doesn't believe her words and breaks up with her instead. Disappointed in Stevie, Trevor goes to the cafe at the airport to meet Marie, as she is the only one he can trust now. However, Marie is not there and there is only a new waitress. She says that she is the one who has been serving Trevor every night and there is no waitress there named Marie. She even thought that Trevor is mute because he has never spoken to her before. Trevor feels betrayed and confused, so he departs from there as he makes a fuss. Arriving at the parking lot, Trevor sees Ivan's car and chases after him again. Ivan goes to his house with Nicholas, Marie's son. Slowly, Trevor enters the pitch-dark house. There, Ivan is shaving his beard with a knife, but there is no Nicholas in it. Thinking that Ivan has killed Nicholas and hid him in the tub, Trevor fights with Ivan and kills him with his knife. After that, he opens the shower curtain but Nicholas is not there. Thinking that Nicholas is in the bloody fridge, Trevor opens the refrigerator only to find that it is filled with rotten tuna. After that, Trevor remembers the photo that has puzzled him for a long time. The one in the photo is himself together with Reynolds after fishing the tuna 1 year ago. Then, Trevor brings Ivan's corpse wrapped in a carpet to a beach and throws it into the ocean, just like at the beginning of the story. But as it turns out, he is surprised because there is no corpse inside the carpet. Instead, the person who catches him doing the act is Ivan. After that, Trevor goes home and he slowly begins to remember what he has done in the past. At that time, Trevor was driving his car at 1.30. When he was lighting his cigarette, he bumped into a little boy who turned out to be Nicholas, son of Marie the cafe waitress. However, Trevor ran away and didn't help the little boy. At that time, he was still a normal person who lived a happy life before finally, he couldn't sleep at all for a year due to the guilt and made his body very thin. He finally finds out the puzzle stuck to his refrigerator that ends in the letters E and R, and as it turns out, the contents of the letter pieces are not actually Miller or Mother, but Killer. Trevor packs his things and decides to move out of the house. From the window, Trevor sees Ivan in his car. Trevor then drives with Ivan, his imaginary friend, and Ivan tells him to turn himself into the police station for crashing a little boy to death. In the end, Trevor turns himself into the police and admits that he is the perpetrator of the hit and run. Now, after all the events and burdens for a year that cause him to be unable to sleep at all, Trevor is finally sleeping soundly in prison. Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like and comment to help the channel out. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.